This is seriously one of the best fruity pears I've ever smelled. What's good, guys? Hunter here and welcome back to Fragrance Hunter. Hope you're all doing great. Now today we are reviewing the newest fragrance release from the house of Jeroboam called Kun Amo. Now this is the first time I'm ever experiencing this niche brand. I know they are sister companies to Jeroboam Paris, which I'm ashamed to admit I've also never tried anything from them, but there are a few from that brand I absolutely have to keep my nose on, especially the patchouli. But today's all about Kun Amo, and if you love your kind of fruity pear style fragrances, you're in for an absolute treat with this fragrance, guys. Especially if you're into scent profiles like Blue Talisman, and then yeah, you're gonna absolutely fall in love with Kun Amo, because it's in the same realm, in the same genre as something like that, but done in a completely different way, of course. I also do want to shout out Jeroboam for sending Kun Amo for review. Of course, as always, I'm still gonna keep it honest. If I like it, I like it, and if I don't, I don't. You already know the drill. So let's run down some information. Now, this fragrance was, of course, launched in 2025, hot off of the shelves, brand spanking new. For the retail price, on the two sizes this comes in, the 30 ml like I have in hand will run you $130, which I think is very well priced for the kind of fragrance you're getting. Or if you want the big boy, the 100 ml, that will run you $325. But to be honest with you, I'm good with the 30 ml. This fragrance bottle will last me pretty much forever because the concentration is actually an extrait de parfum. So you're probably getting around 30% oils in here, which is very, very high. You don't need to overspray this, which is probably why they do offer a 30 ml bottle. Think of something like Nasa model, which only make 30 mls, and those are also an extrait. The perfumer behind this one is Vanina Maricule. I'm probably butchering that name, probably mispronouncing it, but I'm not really sure of their resume. I think they've made quite a few fragrances for the house of Jeroboam and probably the sister companies as well. But with all the information out of the way, let's look at the packaging and presentation you get with this fragrance now. So taking a look at this box, of course, comes in this black and gold color scheme. Jeroboam Kun Amo 30 ml extrait de parfum. On the bottom, you got your barcode and batch code to authenticate a product and see when it was actually produced. Nothing on the sides or on the back. You do have your ingredients. These are made in France. And then you got the Kun Amo logo up top. And your bottle is housed in this very nice kind of box cutout, but that is the box presentation. Now take a look at this bottle, which is pretty tiny coming from the 30 ml, but I do love the aesthetic. Of course, you have this black glass that isn't see-through. You do have Jeroboam Kun Amo extrait de parfum on the bottom etched into the glass. All your information is probably a batch code as well. Nothing on the back or the sides, nothing up top. The cap is metal and quite heavy, especially for how small it is. Nothing on top of the atomizing. It does click in very, very securely. All in all, I think this is a beautiful bottle presentation. In the top, you're gonna find that bergamot, mandarin orange, and almonds. In the mid, you got pear, jasmine, raspberry, and sea salt. And in the base, you got white musk, amberwood, cashmere, cedarwood, and sugar. And this will be classified as a fruity sweet. And do not look at the notes on Fragrantica because they don't list any of those notes, even though they are there. So let's spray this and test out these atomizers. Pretty good distribution. Unfortunately, it's not pressurized, but with that much juice spraying out, you don't really need it to be, right? So let's go ahead and remind myself of the brand new Kun Amo, and I'll let you do the first sniff. Now, this has one of the best citrusy kind of fruity openings I've smelled in quite some time, and blows something like Blue Talisman out of the water when it comes to this genre, because right away, you're gonna get this crisp, citrusy bergamot mixed together with this very juicy, mouth-watering mandarin orange note, guys. I mean, literally mouth-watering. You can almost feel the mandarin and crisp bergamot in the opening. Now, you also do have the almonds in the background behind those two notes. I think it's just there to give it some character, give it a little bit of depth, because this is not primarily a fresh kind of fruity citrusy type of fragrance at all. It has a ton of character and depth and complexity to the opening. I wouldn't say the almonds give off a nuttiness like at all. It just adds a little bit of a darker nuance right away. Now, as we start transitioning into the mid is the star of the show. It's going to be this mouth-watering, sparkling pear, guys. And listen to me right now. For me personally, this is the best pear fragrance I've ever smelled, and I do own quite a few. This smells so exquisite, so high quality, and very, very natural. The pear and this is the dominant note through the entire DNA. This is a pear fragrance through and through, and it's one of the best by far. I mean, I even got this golden pear in the box with this fragrance, and it literally smells like a golden pear, guys. Very, very expensive take on pear. So if you thought the pear in something like Blue Talisman was out of this world, wait until you try Kun Amo. I'm not even joking. Now, along with that fruity pear, which is the star of the show, you also do get this backbone from this fruity raspberry note. And if you know me, I love raspberry, and usually raspberry sometimes can go in a cheap direction. Thank goodness though, in this one, it's a very kind of expensive, luxurious take on raspberry mixed together with the pear, guys. And of course, if you have a scent profile like this, you have to throw in some kind of white floral, and Jeroboam threw in my favorite white floral, which is jasmine. It's a earthy kind of white floral, slightly powdery take on jasmine, and jasmine is by far my favorite white floral in the entire game. Far over like Lily of the Valley, far over Orange Blossom. Definitely not a fan of Orange Blossom, which I think is in Blue Talisman, and like Yves Saint Laurent to myself. The jasmine is a little bit more earthy, has a ton more complexity, and less powdery. And of course, when you have jasmine, it brings a very elegant, sophisticated nature. And I don't think Jeroboam could have went with any better notes than what they did with this. And then finally in the base, you're gonna be left with this amber wood, of course, resinous, woody, mixed together with a very sweet sugar. You almost like sprinkle sugar on top of the entire DNA, and that's what you get in the base of this. You're still getting the pear, you're still going to get that jasmine. It just now brings out the amber wood and sugar. Because through and through, this is a sweet, fruity fragrance to its core, but just done in a very, very complex way, guys. Believe me, this is very complex. And the amber wood in the base might even be like ambroxan, which of course you already know ambroxan, one of the best synthetic molecules in the game. It makes everything so crowd pleasing, so beast mode as well, and you just can never go wrong with ambroxan, guys. So Jeroboam completely changed the game when it comes to this scent profile. If you love this scent profile, this one has to be on your radar, and I hope this one gets as much love as it deserves as it starts getting to more people's noses, because people are going to fall in love with it instantly, just like I did. And that's also coming from somebody that's not a huge fan of DNAs like this. I'm not really a fan of Blue Talisman. It almost looked a little bit too feminine, a little bit too powdery for my taste. And this is basically just the ultimate take on that kind of fruity, white floral, musky genre, hands down in my personal opinion. I really hope you guys are able to get your nose on this, because believe me, this stuff is outstanding. For the best seasons to rock Kun Amo, if you decide to pick up a bottle, this one's very versatile. You can wear it in the spring, summer, fall, and winter. It has that freshness, it has that fruitiness, it has that crispness, especially in the opening, that works in like the hot heat spring and summer days, but also has the potency, the strength, and the depth to work in the fall and winter as well. So very, very versatile, signature scent worthy as well. And for occasion, just like seasons being very versatile, no different, both casual and formal. Of course, when you think of fruity, sweet fragrances, you think of more of like a playful kind of casual vibe. But this one brings out the luxuriousness from fruit that makes it more formal as well. It smells both sophisticated and playful at the same time, so you really cannot go wrong. This is something, if this was my favorite genre, I can wear like going to work in an office, running errands, going on a date night, going on a like date morning, going to like a wedding or a special event or anything like that. This fragrance just works, guys. Every occasion, every single season, which is kind of a rare thing to have a fruity fragrance that also smells very luxurious. And for gender, this one's also very much unisex, both a feminine fragrance and a masculine fragrance at the same time. It does not matter who the person is that's wearing this. It would just suit whoever's wearing it absolutely perfectly. Yeah, I just see this smelling very beautiful on a lady, especially because like the jasmine, the fruitiness, but also could smell very masculine and elegant on a man as well. Because maybe on a man, it brings out the more bergamot, mandarin, the almonds, and the woodiness in the base, especially from the ambroxan as well. So ladies and gentlemen, everybody can rock Kun Amo without even questioning it. This stuff is outstanding and an absolute beautiful creation. For age groups now, also pretty versatile as well, both youthful and mature, even though when you think of a scent profile like this, you might picture in your head more youthful, playful, and juvenile. But like I said, guys, just the way Jeroboam kind of constructed this scent profile, they made it so elegant, so sophisticated, and very high quality that could picture somebody a little bit more mature enjoying it just as much as somebody youthful. So pretty much all age groups down the board, it does not matter. you'll be able to rock it. I can picture somebody in their early 20s, like an early kind of entrepreneur rocking it, somebody in their 30s, 40s and up that has their life together, kind of made a name for themselves, has a family, a husband, a wife, kids, father, etc. Yeah, just one of the most versatile, fruity, kind of musky fragrances on the market in my opinion. So wrapping the review off, talking on the performance you're gonna get from Kun Amo. Now this isn't a straight to parfum, which if you know my reviews, I always keep to a very high standard. Thank goodness though, this one does perform to my expectations, around 12 hours of longevity on skin. If you apply your clothes, you're gonna get upwards like 2 days easily. This is a very strong, fruity fragrance to its core, guys. It will last all day. Do not have to reapply it or anything like that, which is why all you pretty much need is the 30 ml and you'll be good. And also when it comes to the projection, I did get about moderate projection. It means it's not gonna be like a close, intimate scent bubble fragrance, but it's also not really a loud, room-filling fragrance either. Probably just because there's nothing very sharp about this fragrance by any means. It's so smooth, so well blended, but believe me, still people are going to smell this on you for the first few hours without a doubt. It leaves this beautiful, fruity, kind of elegant scent trail wherever you walk around behind you guys. I love the way this fragrance smells in the air, probably even better than it smells up close. It does something magical flowing through the air, guys. And I can already see right now this being a compliment magnet. Believe me, the general public is going to fall in love with this fragrance if you're wearing it. Plus, it doesn't really smell like anything else mainstream by any means. So at the end of the day, 12 hours of longevity on skin, probably around 2 days on clothes with about moderate projection for the first few hours. So Kun Amo is bold and not here to mess around. But that's gonna do it for my review of the newest release from Jeroboam. Let me know down below if you have any experience from this line, if you have any recommendations as well that I should check out and review next, because like I said, this is the first time I've ever smelled anything from the brand, so I have no idea about any of the other fragrances. But first impression is so good. But first impression diving into the brand, I'm gotta say I'm impressed. And besides that, leave a like on the video, subscribe below if you haven't already, because what are you doing? I got you with daily fragrance content and you already know. I'll see all of you back here tomorrow. Take care, everybody.